We need to put tactical nuclear weapons back in South Korea. North Korea's increasingly dangerous nuclear buildup demands it. Hello, I'm Steve Forbes, and this is What's Ahead, where you get the insights you need to better navigate these turbulent times. For 33 years during the Cold War, from 1958 to 1991, the United States maintained tactical nuclear weapons on South Korean soil. At their peak in the late 1960s, nearly 950 warheads were deployed on the peninsula, serving as a critical deterrent against North Korean aggression and offsetting Pyongyang's conventional military superiority. This nuclear presence provided tangible reassurance to Seoul and helped maintain strategic stability in Northeast Asia for over 3 decades. The withdrawal of these weapons in 1991 was undertaken with the best of intentions. President George H.W. Bush's presidential nuclear initiative reflected the optimism of the post-Cold War era, when the Soviet threat had evaporated and arms reduction seemed prudent. More specifically, the withdrawal was designed as a diplomatic gambit to pressure North Korea into abandoning its nascent nuclear program. North Korea had refused to allow international inspections of its nuclear facilities, citing American nuclear weapons in the South as justification. By removing these weapons, Washington hoped to eliminate Pyongyang's excuses and pave the way for the denuclearization of the entire peninsula. The strategy failed catastrophically. In January 1992, both Koreas signed a joint declaration committing to a nuclear-free peninsula, but North Korea never honored this agreement. Instead, the removal of American tactical nuclear weapons created a strategic vacuum that Pyongyang exploited ruthlessly. Today, North Korea possesses dozens of nuclear warheads and intercontinental ballistic missiles that will become capable of reaching the American homeland, a nightmare scenario that the 1991 withdrawal was meant to prevent. This reversal of fortune has created an untenable situation. South Korea, which agreed to forego nuclear weapons and accepted the removal of American tactical nuclear weapons from its territories, now faces a nuclear-armed adversary while its own hands remain tied. Meanwhile, the United States continues to maintain tactical nuclear weapons in 5 European countries, despite the disappearance of the Soviet threat. This suggests an inconsistent strategic approach that prioritizes European security over East Asian concerns. Redeployment would address several critical problems. First, it would restore credibility to American deterrence. Current polling shows that less than half of South Koreans believe the U.S. would actually use nuclear weapons to defend them against a North Korean attack. Physical presence of tactical nuclear weapons would provide tangible evidence of American commitment, making the nuclear umbrella credible rather than theoretical. Second, redeployment would provide Washington and Seoul with negotiating leverage. North Korea's nuclear monopoly on the peninsula gives Pyongyang disproportionate bargaining power. Tactical nuclear weapons could serve as a valuable chip in future negotiations, creating incentives for North Korean denuclearization that currently do not exist. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, redeployment might prevent South Korean nuclear proliferation. Growing frustration with the current security arrangement has led prominent South Korean politicians to openly discuss developing its own nuclear weapons. Such a development would trigger a cascade of proliferation throughout East Asia. Redeploying American tactical nuclear weapons represents a middle path, reassuring South Korea without unleashing regional nuclear competition. The 1991 withdrawal was predicated on assumptions that proved tragically wrong. It is time to acknowledge this mistake and restore the deterrent posture that kept the peace for over 3 decades. I'm Steve Forbes. Thanks for listening. Do send in your comments and suggestions. I look forward to being with you soon again.